Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening. This is your man about town, Petty Murphy, reporting to you live from the back of the classroom here at akatanewsnetwork. So I want to welcome you all to the One Nation Akata News Hour, and we're going to start off with some, one moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting some up-to-the-minute news repeat from the from the executive producer. One moment. All right, so we're going to actually have to switch over to our satellite office out in the field with some, breaking news. Yeah, what's poppin'? So yeah, we're going to start off today with a quick little bit of video footage from my man Vega Access over at the Vega Access channel on YouTube. I highly suggest y'all go check him out because the brother's out there doing the work, and he's doing the work from his end that we really all should be doing from our end and from our vantage point and POV. But yeah, we're gonna check that out, and then I'll double back and we'll talk about it.
This will blow your mind. So the former Venezuelan head of intelligence and former three-star general to Hugo Chavez and Maduro, the narco leaders, just wrote a letter to President Trump where he said many wild things, including how Venezuela has been involved in rigging American elections. But after doing some digging, turns out that Lou Dobbs reported on this back in 2006.
A firm owned by Venezuela could be allowed to take over one of this country's top voting machine firms. Venezuela, of course, led by Hugo Chavez, working to change the views of most South American countries, moved to the left. Critics of the deal say our nation's very democracy is now for sale without anyone doing a thing about it. Getty Pilgrim reports.
The use of some 19,000 electronic voting machines in the city of Chicago and Cook County primary on March 21st of this year is now under intense scrutiny. The U.S. company that makes the machines, Sequoia, was bought in 2005 by Smartmatic, a private company primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen. When Chicago had problems with the machines, a dozen Venezuelan employees were there to help with the election. Chicago officials are outraged.
I think that American elections ought to be run by American companies and ought to be run by American citizens, not Venezuelan nationals.
Smartmatic is technically based in Boca Raton, Florida, but the president of the company, Jack Blaine, testified to the Chicago City Council. Fewer than a dozen Smartmatic employees work in Florida. The majority of the workers are based in Venezuela. Watchdog groups question why U.S. voting machines would be under the control of citizens of another country, especially a country whose own election process is highly suspect.
We believe this is a national security issue. There is no way that companies belonging to non-U.S. corporations should have access to our elections.
The Treasury Department is supposed to monitor sales of U.S. companies to overseas investors where there is a question of national security. Some in Congress are demanding an investigation.
In the case of Smartmatic, there are a number of unanswered questions. That's why I wrote to the Secretary of the Treasury and asked them to review the ownership. It's offshore, it's murky, no one seems to know who owns it. Certainly our government should know.
A potential risk to the democratic process. Now, we called the Treasury Department to ask if the sale of Sequoia in 2005 had been reviewed or not. Treasury told us they were aware of the sale, but can't confirm if it's been reviewed or not.
This goes beyond narcoterrorism. It's a declaration of war.
Alright, so now that you've seen it, right? There's a few things I want to touch on about that. But the last few years, as I've become a little bit more aware of what's actually going on around me and in my reality, I've really come to wholeheartedly believe that the world is a stage. This is why even when it comes to war and it comes to military exercises or campaigns, they always talk about what theater that they're going to function in or play out or orchestrate the play, right? So everything has got a design to it, and they let you know what they're doing before they do it. And it's always up to you to decide whether or not you're going to comply. And of your own free will, allow them to violate your sovereignty, your rights, and your freedoms. So if you're going to tell me that from 2006 They already knew a communist nation that we had a little bit of with was in charge of our voting machines. It could possibly, just possibly, maybe be having a effect on our national elections. Not just our national, but our federal elections for the highest seat in the land. I don't know, that seems a little bit off to me, but you know, anytime I try to talk to my peers about it, it's always, where's the tinfoil hat and the black helicopters? Just like when I used to talk to my coworkers about the whole migrant crisis, and they used to get mad and tell me, dude, you fucking crazy, man. Listen, you know, that shit is not fucking happening, bro. Here we are. But yeah, all bullshit aside, right? All jokes aside, I'm gonna say it every time I get up on here and hop on this soapbox. We all need to be more aware and conscious of what's actually going on. Turn off the boob tube. Start actually reading the written record. If somebody tells you something, don't take their word for it. Go actually seek out that information. If you see a 15-second clip of a news bite, it doesn't matter if it's an hour or 2 hour long press conference. Watch the whole thing, because context is everything and context is key. But on that note, get up out of here. Y'all be safe out there, man. Really be safe, and remember, realize, transparency forces accountability. Y'all keep your eyes to the stars and keep that head on the swivel. It's a dangerous game. Shit, I don't know why these motherfuckers playing stupid anyways. They gonna act like they ain't been around the block a few motherfucking times and don't know what the fuck them niggas out there doing with the motherfucking narco. What you mean hot mic? You like hot mic, bitch? Hot mic. Oh. Yeah, so you know, reporting to you again live from the studio here, your man about town, Petty Murphy with akatanewsnetwork. I would think that the probably more sensible thing to do would be approach this with a more diplomatic approach. And on that note, we're going to sign out live from akatanewsnetwork. Everyone have a wonderful day.